Well, hello everyone. How you doing today? Been a decent afternoon. I just actually watched some shows. It's called Night Sky. It's over on Amazon. I watched that this afternoon. That was my break for the day. It's pretty interesting, actually. So, what are we going to do this afternoon? So here it is. It is what day is this again? It's November the 30th of 2023. It is 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central. And we are live on Facebook and LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and the website. So you can catch us over on there. So if you're dropping in wherever you might be from, I appreciate you being here and looking forward to the conversation. So earlier today, we talked about a few chapters out of the Project 2025 thing that the Heritage Foundation put out in collaboration with numerous other conservative and far-right conservative organizations. And they put all this stuff out there, and they've been working on it for a couple of years, and this is an iteration of something they've been doing since Reagan. They did the first one back when Reagan took over as president. So we're going to continue this conversation. So today we're going to just jump straight into that and then go from there. Okay. Are you with me? Let's go jump into Project 2025. Here we go. Oh, first thing though, before I jump into all of that, let me just say this as a disclaimer. This is the Cassandra Williamson show with the Transgender and Diverse Veterans of America Action Group, and the opinions expressed here are solely mine and mine alone. They do not necessarily represent any particular organization, agency, department, government, or anyone else for that matter. They are strictly my opinions. Okay. And if you're under 18 years old, you have no business being on this show. Go find something else to do. All right, now let's go find our window we want to talk about over Project 2025. So I've been giving a brief rundown of what the forward to this thing looks like. This is Project 2025. Okay, the website, project2025.org. It is a heritage funded and created website. They put $22 million toward making sure that this particular program that they've created gets implemented, assuming that a conservative wins in November of 2024 and then takes office January the 20th at noon Eastern time in 2025. That's what this project is all about. They want to make the job of that new incoming president easier. And by that, I mean, they won't have to find people and vet them and train them and all that kind of stuff to step into the political appointment positions within the executive branch of the federal government. All they have to do is use what Heritage and this a team of people pulled together, and they'll have trained people, vetted them. They got a training program. You can see right across the top of the screen up here, policy personnel training playbook and about and log in and all that. And you can go apply for one of those positions if you want. I'm not encouraging all of you to go apply once. I mean, Lord behold, if we had all 100,000 people out here just suddenly apply for the Project 2025 positions, be honest, when you go in and apply for it, I did. They only acknowledged they received my email, and that's been like 3-4 weeks ago, 5 maybe. But I'm not telling them. I wonder what it would be like though if a bunch of people just kind of swamped their whole system. Anyway, no, we don't want to go there, right? Okay, all right. So let's jump into Project 2025. Now, the forward part of this thing, go over to the website. Let me just back up and say, go to the website, and you can go to the policy section here, and you can see everything they want to do on this website. It's all there. It's very mild here on the front page or on the page of the website. I mean, they don't really tell you what's actually in the Mandate for Leadership book or the PDF, which I get the PDF, because it's pretty darn frightening. All right, so you can go over to the policy tab, click there. You can see a copy of a picture of their book up there, the promo thing on the page. You can go down here and read the mandate or buy the book. And if you look at buy the book part, it says sold out. I think they sold all 20 of their copies. No, I figure they probably sold a whole heck of a lot more than that. They'll probably have to do it again. But they've already sold out. How many they had made up, they sold out of those things. So let me go back one to there. And you can click on read the mandate, and that's the PDF version of this. So you can go check that out, put it on your computer, and search by terms. Use your PDF search magnifying glass up there on that PDF screen. Go check it out. You can go search for terms, look up things like, gender, sex, sexuality, LGBT, diversity, equity, inclusion, abortion, all those kind of things. Just pick a term and just see where it is in this thing. But an easier way to do it, though, is just to go section by section. If you look down below the read the mandate button on this page, you'll see the table of contents, and these are clickable links here. The note, the forward. This forward is, by the way, is probably one of the most frightening parts of this whole document. This lays the framework out for this document and the attack on minorities in this country. And that's really what it is. It is an attack and assault on minorities in this country, all minorities. And it will harm every American in the nation, including them. But, you know, this whole thing, by the way, if you don't know anything about Heritage Foundation, they were founded back in the 70s, 1970s. I say that like everyone should know that, but, you know, 70s, that's last century for a good part of the population these days. So anyway, yeah, they were founded then. They have been working all along, and, you know, they've come a long way. They have a huge building, a big building in DC now. That's just on 214 Massachusetts Avenue Northeast in Washington, D.C. I've been there, took some pictures on the outside and the inside. I had a good time. But anyway, you can click on these links and just take you right straight to it. Now, the one that we're on now, we've already covered the White House executive offices, central personnel agencies, the Common Defense, you know, the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, Department of State, Intelligence, Community, stuff like that. We've covered this whole section. Section 3, we're down into section 3 right now, and I'm thinking that we're going to be picking up on, let me see. Let's just go see where I look up here at the top. So we'll go look at the next one. It's 12. Okay, 12. 12 over here, Department of Energy and Related Commissions. Now, I'm looking at all of them. Not all of them have those words in them that I'd mentioned earlier, but it's worth a check so that you can tell where they are going to try to change things in the federal government. Their goal, ostensibly, their stated goal is to reduce the administrative state. In other words, all the executive branch people who work under the president or for the president's office, executive branch office, all those agencies, departments, and all those people over there on that side, they want to cut that. I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy wants to cut it like 75%, I think. And others are just going to go along with what Project 2025 says. I mean, they've got a plan. They got this. And many of these presidential candidates out there are already lining up to do it. Because, you know, it's going to save them a lot of time and effort and energy to have someone like Heritage hand them off a whole list of people ready to step into those positions. Trained, vetted, checked, tested, you know, make sure you can pass a security clearance, all that kind of stuff. Yep, that's what it's all about, folks. They're going to do it, make it easy for those candidates to be, if they win, you know, all they have to do is just take the list that they give them. So Chapter 12, Department of Energy and Related Commissions. So let's back up out of this. Let's go to Chapter 12. Here we go, folks. Let's see if there's anything in Chapter 12. Before even, you know, obviously I mentioned a minute ago, this is Department of Energy and Related Commissions. It was written by Bernard L. McNamee. So here we go. Let's go up here and hit the search button, the little icon there, search for diversity. And there are 7 references to diversity in here, because diversity is what was already typed in from the last thing I did earlier today. So diversity is mentioned 7 times in here. And this is expand resource diversity and reliability. Resource diversity is needed. Okay, so that's a different type of diversity. It's resource diversity. They're talking about renewables and stuff like that. And obviously, they're more interested in promoting coal and destroying the economy than, you know, the all those fossil fuels and stuff like that. They really don't care about the cleaning the environment. Their only goal is money, 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 money. Can we say it again? Money, money, money. That's all they're interested in. Whatever it takes to make money. They don't care what impact it has on the environment. That's the truth. They won't ever tell you that directly, but that's exactly what they are doing. They will do. Okay. All right. So the first 2 are right there. Support resource diversity and reliability. Okay. We know that's a different type of diversity. We're down in this ending section. Okay, we're back to the top. Now let's go back up here and type in sex and see. There are no references to sex in here. Gender, no references to gender in there. Let's go LGBT, no reference to LGBT. How about abortion? No reference to abortion. So we can tell right there that this conversation is strictly about energy and resources, resources needed to run the country and continue operating the country. Resources like material things, fossil fuels, and all those kind of things. So let's drop out of chapter 12 and go to the next chapter, 13. Let's do the same thing up here. Let's type in diversity again. Okay. There are 6 references, according to the little search tab up here at the top, to this. The first one is on this page. And you can, over on the side, you see the little yellow hashtags over here. Well, those things represent where the word diversity is included. So this first one is, let me go back and see what the topic is to the top of this. Oh my gosh. Administrator's office and reorganization responsibility. We'll get into a lot of the other stuff here in just a second too. So, resetting scientific advisory boards to expand opportunities for a diversity of scientific viewpoints free of potential conflicts of interest. They already are. But they don't mean it the way you think they would mean this. They want to be able to put in there their pseudoscience crap that they think is more important than the real science out there. They're really science averse, okay? They're really opposed to the science. That's really all it is. They care more about faith and religion than they do anything else. So to hell with science. I mean, they'll use the cell phone. But anyway. Okay, let's go to the next one. Suspend and review the activities of EPA advisory bodies, many of which have not been authorized by Congress or lack independence, balance, and geographic viewpoint diversity. See? They don't care about the science. All they're trying to do is make sure that you can get your religious view over top of what's actually taking place out there in that land. And obviously, this is far-right extreme Christian nationalism that we're talking about here. Not all. Not every Christian out there. I know that to be true. However, for this group, this is a Christian nationalist, far-right evangelical kind of stuff that they're doing out there that they really want to push forward. That's like Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, that kind of stuff he believes. That's what this is all about. Let's go down to the next one. Geographic diversity. Okay. And geographic diversity again. And we're talking about geographic diversity down there in the bottom. And then number 6, diversity. Okay, geographic diversity from law schools from each state. Consider allocating resources for regional recruiting to increase geographic diversity from law schools from each state. That's how they're getting around. Well, geez, really? Okay, let's try something else. Sex. No references to sex in this one. How about LGBT? No references to LGBT. Gender. No references to gender. How about ADORTION? Abortion. Nope. No references to abortion in this one either. So let's drop out of this chapter now. Now we're in chapter 14, and we're going to do the same thing here. Let's see what's in this one. Oh my, what chapter is this? Let's see. Oh, chapter 14, Department of Health and Human Services. This one can take us a while. There's a lot of stuff in here. All right, so there are 143 references to the word abortion in chapter 14, and this is written by Roger Savino. If you don't know who that is, that's the person who was at Heritage, still is probably anyway, but these people are anti-LGBT like crazy. I think they're really deep in the closet. And somebody just needs to kind of give them a hug and help them out. Anyway, this first reference, I'm not going to go through all 143 references of this thing because, geez, there's a lot there. If I went to the very first one, let's go back up one. There, very first one, abortion and euthanasia are not healthcare. Okay, protecting life, conscious and bodily integrity. The secretary should pursue a robust agenda. Let me just read here. Goal 1. Wait a minute. What are we looking at here? Overview. All right. Goal 1. Protecting life, conscience, and bodily integrity. The secretary should pursue a robust agenda to protect the fundamental right to life, protect conscious rights, and uphold bodily integrity rooted in biological reality and not ideology. And you know darn well what they're talking about right there. They are so stuck in the past. They're so far stuck back in the past that they don't understand that gender and sex are separate, connected, related, but separate. Okay? And that's really what they're looking to do. They want to roll all of this stuff all the way back to, when they feel comfortable about it. That's what they're trying to do, folks. I mean, that's just it. And science should overrule any of these conscience rights up through here. That's my opinion. Let the families decide what's going on for their families. Let the people decide what's best for them in terms of their health and their well-being and their thriving. Get the damn Republicans out of it. The bedroom, out of your families. Stop. Not ideology. Oh my God, that is just so baffling to me. I mean, that's the thing, the narrative that they're trying to put out there is this. Okay, from the moment of conception, every human being possesses inherent dignity and worth, and our humanity does not depend on our age, stage of development, race, or abilities. The Secretary must ensure that all HHS programs and activities are rooted in a deep respect for innocent human life from day one until natural death. Abortion and euthanasia are not healthcare. Yeah, they are. And it's also not your damn right to figure it out for somebody else. While I personally may not agree with those things or wouldn't ever do that for me or anyone that I know, I would not suggest it, either one of those. However, it's not my job to tell someone else how to live their lives and what to do with their bodies, their own bodies. It's theirs, not yours. You have no right to their body. But, I mean, except unless, of course, you're one of those freaky right, theocratic, fascist, authoritarian, Christian nationalist kind of people. That's what this is all about. Not about science, not about reality. It's not about anything. It's just about their beliefs. And they're trying to surround it with all this pseudoscience stuff to make it sound like it's actually valid. But everything they produced so far has been nothing but junk science. They can't even get it published in regular, respectable magazines or journals of any kind. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what the next one is. Let's jump down. It should ensure that it's not promoting abortion as health care, complication abortion, and ensure, correct, whatever, life through abortion, intentionally taking human life through abortion. Okay. All right. We can jump down through the hoops on that one all day long. It'll go all the CDC's abortion surveillance and maternity mortality reporting system are woefully inadequate. CDC's abortion data are reported by states on a voluntary basis, and California, Maryland, New Hampshire do not submit abortion data at all. Accurate and reliable statistical data about abortion survivors, and abortion-related maternal deaths are essential to timely, reliable public health and policy analysis, but it's not really just about that because they're looking to throw you in jail if you have an abortion. They want to know who you are. Okay, so let's go on down. There's a bunch of words about abortion. And this one, many incidences of abortion, stillbirth, all kinds of stuff down through here. This whole section must be about that. Okay, but anyway, so let's just look at a different word. We know what they're going to say about that one. We already know where they stand on it, okay? So let's look up sex. The word sex occurs 48 times in this document. 48 times. Sex, and also could be sexuality or things like that, okay? All right, let's see. The first one. Wait a minute. Let me see. If the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services were a separate country, its approximately $1.6 trillion budget would rank as the world's fifth largest national budget, For good or ill, HHS activities personally impact the lives of more Americans than do those of any other federal agency. Under President Trump, HHS was dedicated to serving. Oh, and I'm going to guess really quickly. This is the one that's written by Ben Carson. Yeah, no, Roger Savano. Oh, okay, Hart. Oh, I missed it. Including race, sexuality. Wait. Under President Trump, HHS was dedicated to serving all Americans from conception to natural death, including those individuals and families who face economic and social well-being challenges. Under President Biden, the mission has shifted to promoting equity in everything we do for the sake of populations sharing a particular characteristic, including race, sexuality, gender identification, ethnicity, and a host of other categories. As a result of HHS having lost its way, U.S. life, that's not the reason life expectancy dropped. Life expectancy, instead of returning to normal after the COVID-19 pandemic, continued to drop precipitously. They're trying to draw connections to things that are absolutely asinine. It's a straw man argument. Anyway, so, and we'll go on down. Let's go look for the next one that has the word sex in it. All right, here we go. Radical actors inside and outside of government. Here we go. Oh, wait. Okay, let's read this first one up here too. All right. A robust respect for the sacred rights of conscience, both at HHS and among governments and institutions funded by it, increases choices for patients and program beneficiaries and furthers pluralism and tolerance. Okay. The Secretary must protect American civil rights by ensuring that HHS programs and activities follow the letter and spirit of religious freedom and conscience protection laws. No, they should follow the science. This one is just, let me just show this one. Let me just do it like this. I'm going to draw on it, put in there a big red mark. Okay, you ready? All right. So this is just, this one is wrong, folks. Well, maybe I can go back. Draw, erase. Well, erase. Okay, got it. Anyway, this whole section is wrong. It should be based on science. I don't care what your faith is. All right, let's go to the next part of this. All right. We can't erase this, though. Radical actors inside. Where's my cursor thing back up here? Where'd it go? Ask a co-pilot. No, I'm not going to do the co-pilot thing. I'm going to go back over to here. This? No. What'd I do? Click. And I'm going to have to increase the size again because it just jumped away from me. Okay. All right, here we go. Radical actors inside and outside of government are promoting harmful identity politics that replaces biological sex with subjective notions of gender identity and bases a person's worth on his or her race, sex, or other identities. No, it doesn't. That's just because you're so butthurt about little things. You got your emotions all out on your sleeve out there, Roger Savano. Let's go on down. Number 3, there's number 4, sexual abuse, physical, insulating. Working fathers are essential to the well-being and development of their children. Notice they didn't say anything about working mothers or single-parent families or gay families or anything like that. Up here at the top. Let's just look at goal 3. Promoting stable and flourishing married families. Now look, this is going right back to that Christian nationalism bullshit. Really. Families comprised of a married mother, father, and their children are the foundation of a well-ordered nation and healthy society. These people are deep off in the deep, dark end. Unfortunately, family policies and programs under President Biden's HHS are fraught with agenda items focusing on LGBT equity, subsidizing single motherhood, disincentivizing work, and penalizing marriage. Bullshit. These policies should be repealed and replaced by policies that support the formation of stable, married, nuclear families. the difference here, and sure, I mean, there's no problem with that one. These policies should be not repealed, but we should actually be doing it. Support the formation of stable, married nuclear families. I mean, if you want to get married, fine. If you don't, fine too. But the family part, this word right there, that word, they actually mean just this. No other way to describe it for them. It's mother and a father and their children. Okay. Working fathers. Here we go. Working fathers are essential to the well-being and development of their children, but the United States is experiencing a crisis of fatherlessness that is ruining our children's futures. No. Single moms are doing a good job too. They're extremely stressed and they're going through an awful lot to do it because of all the paternalistic and misogynistic crap that's going on from all of you over there on the right, far right, conservative, bonkers. In the overwhelming number of cases, fathers insulate children from physical and sexual abuse, financial difficulty and poverty, incarceration, teen pregnancy, poor education, high school failures, and a host of behavioral and psychological problems. Bullshit. By contrast, homes with non-related boyfriends are among the most dangerous place for a child to be. HHS should prioritize married father engagement in its messaging, health, and welfare policies. This is an agenda. This is an agenda that disregards science, disregards the will of the people, disregards the fact of love between two people, regardless of their gender or sexuality. It just completely obliterates all of that. And that's the purpose, by the way. So let me go on down. Woke policies. Here we go. Now that we're talking about NIH, which is the National Institute of Health. Remember, if you were paying attention whenever I read the forward section on one of the other programs and went through that one and really was just, oh my God, horrible stuff taking place there. Well, all right. Whenever they said they wanted to delete all those words from grants, they mentioned that, all those words that I mentioned before, they want to delete everything from grants and regulations and rules and all that kind of stuff. They want to stop all research that has to do with anything that will help mitigate the impact of social determinants of health on the well-being of minorities in this country, the well-being and thriving of minorities in the country. And really, it'll have an impact on every American. Woke policies. Under Francis Collins, National Institute for Health, NIH, became so focused on the Me Too movement that he refused to sponsor scientific conferences unless there were a certain number of women panelists, which violates federal civil rights law against sex discrimination. That's white male freaking bullshit. This quota practice should be ended, and the NIH. Oh, wait a minute. We go pull this up a little bit. This quota practice should be ended, and the NIH Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, which pushes such unlawful actions, should be abolished. Yeah. These people are out to destroy half the country. They don't think it's that, but that's exactly what they want to do. NIH has been at the forefront in pushing junk gender science. Oh, that's like the pot calling the kettle black or something, right? I mean, geez. The science that we're using is not junk science, folks. But the crap you're pushing out from the conservative side of things, like what Roger Savano put out and Ryan Anderson put out and all that stuff, sounds very erudite. It sounds very academic. But that's really not what it's all about. Like, you could take that stuff and just set it to the side and ask them one point blank question. You could say, so which religion do you think we should replace it with? And why? And they'll tell you, whatever it is. If you push hard enough, you'll find out that really they don't really care about all that. They just want to look like they're academics. Okay. Instead, it should fund studies into the short-term and long-term negative effects of cross-sex intervention. What about the positive effects too. I mean, they're only interested in looking at it from the perspective of, hey, we got to get rid of it kind of stuff. And look, this is talking to every single person who's a veteran here, or in the military, or a transgender, or LGBTQ plus, anything like that. This is what this is talking about right here. Instead, it should fund studies into the short-term and long-term negative effects of cross-sex interventions, including affirmation, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries, and the likelihood of desistance if young people are given counseling. That does not include medical or social interventions. These people are out to destroy every minority in the country. And Roger Savano is leading that charge with this thing right here on HHS and NIH. And, you know, you don't really predetermine what you're going in to go research for. You do have an hypothesis that you're looking for and that you believe might be the outcome. But everything that we've seen has shown positive effects for these things. It's not because we're not looking for any of the other outcomes. It's just that the outcomes are positive. What are you going to do there, Roger? Go out there and create some negative impact, you know, get some of those detransitioners to be the only study participants? That's why everything they're doing on that side is full of shit. Jeez, it just baffles the mind. Let me go on down. Next. Okay, finally. HHS needs to, here, let me just highlight it right here. Finally, HHS needs to restore and enhance conscience protection regulations that allow medical practitioners to participate in federal health programs without being compelled to provide sex changes or similar services. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't deny it to another person if they want it or if they're willing to do it. That's what they want to do with this. I mean, this all sounds really cool and stuff like that. I mean, like that they're actually willing to consider that as a possibility, but no, they don't even want those things to happen at all. I mean, this is just fluff. That whole line right there is just nothing but fluff. Okay, let's go on down to the next one. Prohibit Planned Parenthood from receiving Medicaid funds. Planned Parenthood, during the 2021 reporting period, Planned Parenthood performed more than 383,000 abortions. The national organization reported more than $133 million in excess revenue and more than $2.1 billion in net assets. During this same year, Planned Parenthood reports that its affiliates received more than $633 million in government funding and more than $579 million in private contributions. Planned Parenthood affiliates face accusations of waste, abuse, and potential fraud with taxpayer dollars, failure to report the sexual abuse of minor girls, and allegations of profiting from the sale of organs from aborted babies. Okay. Let's go on down. Radical redefinition of sex. Are you getting the picture yet of what these people are wanting to do? Radical redefinition of sex. On August the 4th, 2022, HHS published a proposed rule entitled Non-Discrimination in Health Programs and Activities. This rule addresses non-discrimination provisions of the Affordable Care Act, known as Section 1557, which is enforced by the Office of Civil Rights and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Section 1557 prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, age, disability, and sex in covered health programs or activities. Now, let's jump on down to the next one. Under the proposed rule, sex is redefined. Discrimination on the basis of sex includes, but is not limited to, discrimination on the basis of sex stereotypes, sex characteristics, including intersex traits, pregnancy and related conditions, sexual orientation, and gender identity, as it should. In other words, here's what they say. Here's what Roger says. Uh-oh, where'd it go? I went back to the top too far. Did I? Sure did. Oh, okay. No. Click. Where's that? 10. It's in here somewhere. 9, 10. Okay. Radical definition of sex under proposed rule. Okay, that's where I was. In other words, the department proposes to interpret Section 1557 as if it created special privilege for new classes of people defined in ways that are highly ideological and unscientific. Wrong. Just wrong. Flat out wrong. But look, the reason I'm telling you all this stuff about what's going on in this thing, I want you to see that you can pull this document up here and search through here. I mean, you're going to find this all the way down through this thing. There are 48 references just to the word sex, redefinition of sex, all this stuff, intersex stuff. Go on down. Gender identity, sexual. Okay. The redefinition of sex to cover gender identity and sexual orientation, and pregnancy to cover abortion should be reversed in all HHS and CMS programs, as was done under the Trump administration. This includes children's health insurance program. Low-income families who rely on CHIP should not be coerced, pressured, or otherwise encouraged to embrace this ideologically motivated sexualization of their children. There's just so much propaganda bullshit in that. I don't really know any other words to describe it, because that's how it makes me feel. It's just stupid. Oh my God. Yes. Okay, here we go. Taking sex to prevent pregnancy. Okay. Well, I know what that one's all about. Anyway, sexual behaviors. Oh, they're just going to go after it all. I mean, they're going to tell you that you can't have sex before marriage, and I don't think they say that in here. And they're not really interested in any kind of preventive measures. They just want you to abstain. Okay. That's been their push for a long time, folks. It's been their push for a long time. Okay, adoption reform. HHS through ACF and the Assistant Secretary of Financial Resources should repeal the unnecessary 2016 regulation that imposes non-statutory sexual orientation, gender identity, non-discrimination conditions on agency grants, and return to the policy of maximizing the options for placing vulnerable children in their forever homes. Okay, they're going after any of those, LGBT families that happen to have kids. Let's go on down. We just All right, here's something. Faith-based grant recipients from religious liberty violations and protect faith-based grant recipients from religious liberty violations and maintain a biblically based, social science reinforced definition of marriage and family. And I'm going to tell you, that should scare half this country to death. Really should. And if it doesn't piss you off and get you up here and wanting you to do things and help support the work that we're doing, to go after all this and to make it visible to the entire nation, I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't understand why you aren't motivated. Because we got to fight against this. And it's a real threat. And people are, I get the impression that people think that it's, if we just ignore it, it'll go away, But no, it's not going away. And if a conservative wins the White House, this is going to be the stuff that they push. And, I don't expect Trump to read even 10 sentences from this thing. Really, I don't. He's just going to take it and say, okay, give it to somebody over there and let them take care of it. If you can't tell it to him, this is me talking for him. If you can't give it to me in one paragraph, I'm really not interested in it. You just have to give it to somebody else. Let them deal with that. Dense as dense can be. Okay. Now look, protect faith-based grant recipients from religious liberty violations and maintain a biblically based, really? Separation of church and state much, y'all? No, they actually don't believe in that. As a matter of fact, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, has been talking about that incessantly for some time now, that he doesn't see that distinction. He believes that the founders actually wanted there to be faith involved within the governance of this nation. Biblically based, social science reinforced. Well, no, look, first thing is you should never be using this biblically based decisions to make any kind of decision within this federal government that talks about Americans, because we are representative of all kinds of beliefs and ideologies, folks. Social science reinforced. What are you going to do? This is how I envision that happening. Oh, look, the data shows this, and it says if we take care of this particular thing, it's a social determinant of health. No, we don't want that data. Let's take that data and set it aside. Let's see if we can get some other data over here. We'll just narrow it down to this population of people right here. Then if we can do that, let's see what the results are there. Oh, wait, it still reinforced the same stuff about social science. And, oh, wait, there's really nothing. So we just have to fake it to make it. That's what they're going to end up with doing because there's no social science reinforcement of this kind of behavior or of these kind of thoughts. Social science reinforced definition of marriage and family, biblically based, I'll say it again, biblically based social science reinforced definition of marriage and family. That excludes Americans across the board, including conservatives, some conservatives and some Republicans. It goes after all of them. It doesn't care. They don't care. If it violates their biblically based definition, because it's not social science reinforced, they're trying to create one that's biblically based, and that's just bullshit, folks. Definition of marriage and family. And okay, social science reports that assess the objective outcomes for children raised in homes aside from a heterosexual intact marriage are clear. It turns out that this is bullshit too. All other family forms involve higher levels of instability. The average length of a same-sex marriage is half that of a heterosexual marriage. Financial stress or poverty and poor behavioral, psychological, and educational outcomes. No. No, not true. But, if you're going to manipulate the social sciences to prove that, then go for it. But I'll just call it all junk science because that's what it will be. For the sake of the children. Okay. For the sake of the children. Okay. Healthy marriage and responsible fatherhood program. Talk about discrimination much? Paternalistic discrimination? Really? Whatever, huh? Protect faith. We just read that one. I just read that. And that one. Withdraw. Ryan White guidance allowing funds to pay for cross-sex transition support. Right. Eliminate the week after pill from contraceptive mandate as a potential abortifacient. Okay. No, this is all religious fanaticism. That's what this whole thing is religious fanaticism. And my choice definition or word to define this series of words to define this are, it's theocratic fascism, authoritarian Christian nationalism. That's what this is. HRSA should withdraw all guidance encouraging Ryan White HIV/AIDS program service providers to provide controversial gender transition procedures or gender-affirming care, which cause irreversible physical and mental harm to those who receive them. I don't know about you, but I feel pretty darn good about me. This is really just asinine. Ensure, here's another one. Ensure that training for medical professionals, doctors, nurses, etc., and doulas is not being used for abortion training. HHS should ensure that training programs for medical professionals, including all those I mentioned before, are in full compliance with restrictions on abortion funding and conscious protection laws. This is religious fanaticism, folks. That's really all this is. The family agenda. Okay, the Secretary's anti-discrimination policy statements should not conflate sex with gender ideology or sexual orientation. That's because you're too dense to see that they are exactly separate. Rather, the Secretary should proudly state that men and women are biological realities that are crucial to the advancement of life sciences and medical care, and that married men and women are the ideal natural family structure because all children have a right to be raised by the men and women who conceived them. There's so much wrong with that one little paragraph right there. Getting the hint now, folks? This is serious. This is serious, damaging stuff to America. They're Americans, don't get me wrong. One thing I want to make it very clear. These people are Americans. They are entitled to these views and these opinions, and I will defend that right for them to do so. But for them to force this on everyone else in this country because they think they know better is wrong. It's just not right, folks. I'm sorry, just not right. Promoting life and family. I mean, that's the whole thing in this one. Let me see what this says right here. Let me just start at the top of that sentence. Promoting life and family. Okay. In dealing with sexually transmitted diseases and unwanted pregnancies, the OASH should focus on root cause analysis with a focus on strengthening marriage and sexual risk avoidance. We are already talking about sexual risk avoidance, folks. Come on. Strong leadership is needed. Okay. In the Office of Science and Medicine to drive investigative review of literature for a variety of issues, including the effect of abortion on prematurity and breast cancer, lack of evidence for so-called gender-affirming care, the physical and emotional damage following cross-sex treatments, especially on children. But they threw that in there because, you know, they've got to go after, they got to show that they're protecting the kids from something nefarious, right? Jeez. The OASH should withdraw all recommendations of and support for cross-medical interventions and gender-affirming care. Notice they didn't stop on that one. I mean, they didn't specify which group they're going after this for all people, folks. All people. 39, 38, sex discrimination. Okay, sex discrimination. Reinforce sex discrimination in statutory rules. Okay, we're going on down the page. OCR should return its enforcement of sex discrimination to the statutory framework of Section 1557 and Title IX. Specifically, it should remove all guidance issued under the administration concerning sexual orientation, gender identity. Okay. You get the point. You get the point, though. This is just looking up the word sex, and you're not even bothered with gender. Don't need to. They put them all in the same sentence. Anyway, you can see what I mean here. This is just replete with all kinds of attacks on everyone who is different. And I'm sure if I typed in diversity up here, let me see. Diversity and inclusion. Okay, here we go. This quote of practice should be ended in the NIH Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, which pushes such unlawful actions, should be abolished. Okay, geez. If you don't see how damaging this is going to be if a conservative wins the presidency, I'll tell you flat out. Let me just make this clear. I want to make a very clear point about this. If these policies were coming from the left, I would be railing against them too. It doesn't matter if these kind of things, if this kind of thinking comes from any group in this country who has political power, left, right, independent, any group, if it would come from any of them, I would be attacking them. I'd be going after them, pointing out the absurdities of what they're doing and saying. But unless we get together, and I'm just going to close out here because there's so much more to this. I haven't even made it down to the bottom of this thing. And this was, which chapter are we in here? Again, let me make sure. 14. All right, so I'm in 14. And I'm going to stop sharing there because leave. Anyway, that's where we are. Let me minimize this. I want to go back over here and see if anyone is watching. And someone is. I don't know where you are at this point in time. But if this doesn't piss you off, this whole stuff with the Project 2025, I don't know what will. Because this is going against everything America stands for, which is recognizing and relying upon the diversity of our nation. We gain our strength from that. Our adherence to, well, we don't have a real strong adherence to science. No, we're kind of backward on science. Always have been. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day after that right there. And what I'm going to do now is close it out. And tomorrow at noon, there'll be a recording That's noon Eastern time. There'll be a recording that plays tomorrow at noon because I have a meeting at the Tuscaloosa VA, doing a presentation there. So it's going to be probably tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, when I get back on the show live. Okay. So with that, I'm going to put my flag up here and wish you a good night.